Okay, inshallah, we'll move on to the 10th of Zul Hajj, inshallah. So we've spent the day in Mina. We spent the most virtuous day in Arafat. Now, this is the business end of your Hajj, the 10th, 11th, and the 12th, and if you want to do the 13th as well. So the 10th of Zul Hajj will be the day where in the UK they'll be celebrating Eid al-Adha. But in Makkah during Hajj, we don't celebrate Eid al-Adha for what it is. For us is Yawm al-Nahr. So the first thing we'll be doing, so we've been in Muzdalifah. We leave Muzdalifah. The logistics of Muzdalifah when you're leaving, because our camp, which is Muaisim camp, it's very, very close to the point in Muzdalifah which we'll be in. Muaisim is literally a mile and a half. So it's only like a 45-minute walk. So you'll have 2 or 3 different options. Either you could start making your way by yourself towards Mina. Okay. Either you start making your way by yourself, or you can wait for the coaches to arrive as well. By this point, a lot of people, a lot of the Hujjaj will have on their mind the Qurbani and their pelting. But there's also very, very important fiqh and maslas to bear in mind relating to the manner and the order in which we'll be carrying out the procedure from here on. So the 10th of Zul Hajj, the most important things there on that day is the Rami, which is known as the pelting, and after that will be the sacrifice, the Nahar, the Qurbani, and then it will be the shaving of our hair. Okay, so those are amongst the wajib of the 10th of Zul Hajj. It's very, very important to get that in order. I always remember the mnemonic by Mawlana Sheikh Salim Dorat. He always says pass. Yeah, the mnemonic pass. So the first one is pelting, animal sacrifice, and shaving. It has to go in that order. In that order, systematically. So you will be in Muzdalifah. Now your tour guides will tell you, right, we have to now head towards Mina. So you will be going towards Mina, back to your camps, which you left 24 hours ago. And at that point, you will be waiting there until you get the instruction from the tour guides to go and pelt. Okay. Now, pre-COVID, there were certain times at which you go and do the Rami, the pelting. But last year, that order changed and everybody was doing things at their own accord because there were no guides and everybody was just following their understanding of what the Maslas were and the Masails were. So they started to head towards Jamrat by themselves. So first thing we need to do is to pelt the Jamrat. Okay. You either, again, go by yourself or your tour guides will lead you there. You will be arriving at your camps in Mina. You'll wait there for a short while. Remember, there's certain times at which you need to start pelting as well. So that's very, very important as well. There'll be a lot of different madhabs, a lot of different countries, the different Muslims that'll be amongst you. The Hujjaj will be doing things in a certain way. You follow what we are used to by the Hanafi madhab. Is that okay? So the prescribed times at which you could start pelting. So either you could go to Mina with your tour guides, or you could make your way to Mina. When you arrive to Mina, you'll collect your belongings, you'll freshen up, and then you will get an instruction to head towards the Jamrat. When you go towards Jamrat, you'll be just the best way to think about this. Go towards the Jamrat. The Jamrat from Muaisim camp will be roughly hour and a half. Okay, so far you've probably already walked a mile and a half. You'll be now walking another 1.5 to 2 miles, depending on exactly which route we take. There's 3 routes to the different levels of the Jamrat. Again, there's no indication as to which route you'll be taking, because the authorities, the military, will open certain routes at different times to avoid congestion and traffic. It's everybody's heading towards the Jamrat at this point. So the first thing you'll be doing is coming towards the Jamrat, and the first of the three Jamrats that are there, the first one will be known, is known as the small Jamrat, the Jamratul Ula or Sugra, and after that is the Jamrat ul Wusta, the middle one, and the last one is Jamratul Aqaba, the large one. On this day, we are going to be pelting the large one. Okay, so the first one is the smallest one, which is closest to Masjid Khaif. Okay, so you can't really, you won't get confused, because as you're going towards the Jamrat, the military will be guiding you and they'll be giving an indication where you're going. They'll actually put up a sign that you are not going to be pelting this one. Keep going forward to the last one. So you're going to walk past the small one. They're all the same size, but you'll be going past. It's known as the small one because traditionally it was small. You'll be going past the small one, going past the middle one, and then you'll arrive to the last one, the Jamratul Aqaba, and you will be pelting this Jamrat. Okay. So for this one, you'll have your 7 stones. Until this point, you'll be still doing your talbiyah. It's very, very important. You are still in your ihram. You are still doing Hajj. You still continue your talbiyah. Okay. When you get to Jamratul Aqaba, you'll stop the talbiyah and then face the Jamrat. And the masnoon way of doing it is grab the stone between your index finger and your thumb. You want to expose your arms, your armpit as it was, and then Bismillahi Allahu Akbar and pelt it. Okay. Now, if I could possibly show you, there was right behind me. So we've gone past this small one, gone past the middle one, and we got to the third one. Now, yes, of course. They signposted as well. When you get to the large one, throw in the stones. Don't worry if your stone doesn't reach or hit the Jamrat. The little well that's around it, as long as it falls inside that, is more than adequate. Okay. Yes. Okay. So some of the tips we normally give for each of the day. So you will have when you were in Muzdalifah a night before, you collected your 70 stones, right? Of those 70 stones, you want to take out the 7 stones for the first day. We normally have a big bag with all of them, and then for each day a smaller bag in which we just put those stones, and we generally keep 1 or 2 extra as well in case you miss or you drop some. And because of the rush last year, there were a lot of Hujjaj who just forgot the stones altogether. They just didn't have any stones. The circumstances last year were unprecedented. The things we experienced last year was not seen by us before in Hajj travel. So alhamdulillah, it was a lesson for us to prepare a little bit better. So few more stones than the 7 that you have. Expose your arm, stop your talbiyah, and it's Bismillahi Allahu Akbar, and you just pelt like that. If it falls outside, don't worry about it. If it hits and it falls outside, don't worry about it. As long as it goes inside the tunnel. Some of the Qurbanis were done at 7 o'clock in the morning. So Hujjaj started getting text messages that your Qurbani has been done. But the Hujjaj have not been pelting yet. They've not pelted. What do we do now? So unfortunately, we didn't really have a lot of access to a lot of the alims that we normally have, the elders that normally take us, the group leaders, the the respected, experienced Hufaz and alims that are normally there, they weren't available. So we had to um, consult the alims that were with us. Alhamdulillah, we were very fortunate to have Mufti Asmar with us. So Alhamdulillah, all the way through the Safar, he had his kitab open because we were faced with the different fiqh and masla issues we weren't faced with before, pertaining the females, pertaining the order of the 10th day. But Alhamdulillah, we made it. We made it through and we got past that stage. So you want to make sure you've got confirmation from your guides that your qurbani has been done. So of your wajibat, you've already done two of the things that you were supposed to be doing on this day. So what before you come out of your ihram, you've got to now make sure that you do your halak. Okay? Does everybody understand? Everybody following up till now? Inshallah, yeah? So what do we do? What do the ladies do? What do the men folk do? There's two options you have now. You either go back to Mina, so walk back another 1.5 hour back to your camp and just wait there, or you go back to Azizia if you are shifting to Azizia, or you go back to Makkah Haram if you are non-shifting. Okay, there is nothing for you to do now until you have word that your qurbani has been done. That could be 12 o'clock, that could be 1 o'clock, could be 2 o'clock, could be 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Okay, so until you've got word that your qurbani has been done, you wait, you rest, you go to sleep, and then when you have word that the qurbani has been done, you can go and do your halak, and inshallah after that you come out of your ihram. Are we clear on that, Mufti Saab? Yeah, so far? Mawlana, yeah. So what's left now amongst the faraid? So of the faraid that we've already been through, we've already done Arafat. You've already done your ihram. There was one left. What was that one left? Of the faraid? What was left of the faraid of Hajj? Brother, it's very important. Come on, don't be shy. Honestly, I didn't know all this. I still don't, but you'll help me. Go on. What's the third one? Tawaf is ziyarat. Okay. So all restrictions of ihram, once you've done your halak, have now been lifted. The only one that remains upon you now is marital relationships. That one's still intact until Tawaf ziyarat has been completed. Tawaf ziyarat now is a wajibat that's outstanding, but for us for us that's outstanding. But along with that, there's one wajibat that's attached as well. Which one is that with Tawaf ziyarat? Sa'i. Sa'i needs to be done as well. So you'll be going around 7 times to finish your. So it's basically like doing your umrah. Okay, you'll be going around 7 times. Once you finish that, you pray your 2 rakats, and then you'll be going to Mas'a to do the sa'i. It's very, very important that it sticks together as well. Now, I'm going to take a step back. A lot of you may have done Tawafi Qudum right before Hajj when you came to Mecca again and performed Tawafi Qudum. When you're doing Tawafi Qudum, you could also do the Sa'i of Hajj before Hajj. That's with Qiran, that's the Masnoon thing to do. That's the better thing to do. Is that right, Mufti Saab? Sa'i. Sa'i with Qudum at the start of Hajj, before Hajj. Yes, so inshallah. So Tawaf is ziyarat and then Sa'i. When that's been completed, that's that day, the 10th of Zul Hajj, will be coming towards an end. But there's a lot of little practicalities to be mindful of now. So we've done all the fiqh related aspects of the 10th day, but now the logistics come in. Because some of you will be stopping in Makkah because you're non-shifted. Some of you will be going back to Azizia because you've shifted. And all of you will need to go back to Mina because that's the masnoon thing to do. Now, taxis will be very, very difficult to get hold of. Any kind of transport will be very, very difficult to get hold of. Inshallah, if the tour guides are doing what they are meant to do, then they will arrange for transport for you to go back to Mina, whether it's from Haram, whether it's from Azizia, whether it's from your hotels. You have to now make your way back to Mina, which is another 5 to 6 miles away. Okay? Everybody understand so far? It can get late and you'll be very, very tired. You will have done a lot of walking as well. So it's very, very important to do mashwara amongst your families to how to go about it. Now, taking a step back again, if you feel that your qurbani has been done and your shaving's done, you've come out your ihram, but you're too tired and there's no chance you could perform the tawaf, there's a lot of rush, it's very, very busy, then you can postpone the tawaf ziyarat onto the next day. You do not have to do it on the same day. Bear this in mind. Don't follow every single different person that's there. Look at your circumstances, look at your halat, look at the family circumstances, and make a decision. From here, there is so much flexibility as to what you want to do and how you want to do it and when you want to do it. So do mashwara. The rules are all set out for you now. You could either do your tawaf ziyarat on the 10th, on the 11th, or the 12th. Okay? So the day of the 10th, a lot of people will try and get the tawaf ziyarat done. If we give you our example, we've done tawaf ziyarat on the 10th, we've done it on the 11th as well, we've done it on the 12th as well. So we've postponed it because of circumstances. Sometimes we've got to rush to go do somebody's qurbani. We might find that we've got a few wheelchairs that we've got to look after. There's families who also need to do the tawaf ziyarat that are on their own. So based on the circumstances, we make a decision as to how to perform the tawaf ziyarat and whether to do it on that day or postpone it. So that's the 10th day of Zul Hajj, inshallah, finished. Yeah, I'll let you say that. Will you go? Fine, it's fine. Will you go? Go on, carry on, carry on, carry on.
Those ladies who are in the monthly cycle, they have to do Tawaf Ziyarat. They cannot come back from Makkah back home until they have done their Tawaf Ziyarat. Otherwise, the marital status are haram, absolutely haram. So she will have to stay in Makkah until she is pak and saf, and then she will make wudu and go towards Baitullah Sharif and do her Tawaf Ziyarat, because that is one of the faraz. And some ladies, they don't know the Masail and they probably come back, and when they come back here you will have to pay a lot of dam for it. Yes, you have to go back again and you have to ask the Masla to Mufti Saab. So please, this is why I mentioned yesterday as well, the day before, that make sure those ladies who are going to be in the monthly cycle, they actually book their tickets 3-4 days later than after the 5 days of Hajj. So if the, let's say, Hajj finishes on the 13th of Zul Hajj, they actually book their ticket after the 18th or the 19th of Zul Hajj, depending on their days. The ladies will know anyway. This is a very important. The Tawaf Wida is marked for the ladies, which is wajib. But for the men, they have to perform the Tawaf Wida. Any Tawaf you will do after Hajj, that will be counted as Tawaf Wida anyway. If okay.
So inshallah, that's the 10th of Zul Hajj completed. It's Ji Musab. No. Remember what I said. If you perform Tawaf Kudum and you attached it with Sa'i at before the 8th of Zul Hajj, then that's adequate. You could do a niyat and perform the Sa'i of Hajj before Hajj, just before Hajj, and the night before. And then, so that means basically when you come back to do Tawaf Ziyarat, you won't need to do the Sa'i because you will have already done it. So, whilst you're fresh, it sometimes is a good idea to just to get your Sa'i done. So it'll be a lot easier for you later on. Is that okay? Now, there are certain circumstances that can happen. For example, suppose your Qurbani has not been done yet. Okay? If your Qurbani has not been done yet, then your halak's not been done yet. If the halak's not been done yet, your ihram is still on. And you don't know what the situation is. The person who's going to be doing your Qurbani has disappeared. You can't get in touch with them. But you're free. You've got nothing to do. You can go to Haram and do your Tawaf Ziyarat. Tawaf Ziyarat can be detached from that and you can get Tawaf Ziyarat done. Is that okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But also remember, when you're in Tawaf Ziyarat, you will be, and if you're in Ihram, the rules of Ihram and Tawaf apply as well, which is Istiba, yeah, and which is the other one? Ramal. Remember that. That's if you are still in Ihram. These circumstances can happen. This is all circumstantial. These things can happen. It's happened in the past. We've seen it. So you know that if you want to jump a step just to get everything completed in time, then it's possible for you to do that. Is that okay? Does anybody have any questions so far? Was? Does everybody understand? Everything makes sense. Don't be embarrassed. Honestly, you could ask. It'll help my understanding as well. If you ask me a question, I'll try and put it in a way you understand. Is everything following up till the 10th of Zul Hajj? Okay, so you are now going to head back to Mina. I'll give you an example of last year. Tawaf Ziyad was done. Myself and Asif, we came downstairs into the lobby of the clock towers, and we found there was about 300 people just standing there. They had no means of getting back to Mina. They didn't understand how to get back to Mina. The coaches um, were all over the place. So what we did was we rounded up some drivers from around the roads. We brought them into the lobby, and we negotiated with them that we'll give you 50 riyals per head to take coaches to back to Mina. So we started that around 11 o'clock. Alhamdulillah, by 3 o'clock with and Mufti Saab, of course, as well. He played a very big part because his Arabic is very good. It's street Arabic, so it helped quite a lot in trying to negotiate the rates. So Alhamdulillah, he had a minibus of his own. He had a crew of his own. Myself and Asif, we had another minibus, and Alhamdulillah, all we did was shuttle runs back and forth, back and forth. Haram to Mina, Mina back to Haram, Haram back to Mina. Alhamdulillah, we managed to transport everybody back. The point I'm making here, don't panic. Don't worry. We saw a lot of very, very upset people, very panicked people. But we've got to understand our Hajj is almost done now. You've been through all the difficult parts. You'll get these little challenges. You'll get these little tests. Inshallah, you won't get to see what the Hujjaj of last year saw. But inshallah, if we get to a stage where we're struggling, then inshallah there's always a way around. We'll get to Mina some way or another. If we have to walk there, we'll just have a nice walk there. We'll get there eventually. We actually got into Mina. We got into Mina at the Fajr Azan. Literally, we walked in straight to our camps and had some rest. So that's the 10th of Zul Hajj now finished, inshallah. We now move on to the 11th of Zul Hajj. Now, there might be certain family members who still need to do Tawaf Ziyarat, so they'll want to arrange how to get back to Haram. Amongst all of this, the tour guides should really be organizing transport as well. So to give you an example, dome tours, they normally arrange transport from Haram going back to Mina to a certain point in Mina. Remember, Mina is a restricted area for normal taxis, so taxi drivers will not go there. Buses which are authorized by the ministry are allowed to go there. So some of the tour guides might be able to arrange shuttle runs for you to be able to get back to Mina. So on to 11th of Zul Hajj, you'll wake up for Fajr, you'll have breakfast, and then the two things you might need to do, well, the one thing you're definitely going to be doing on that day is going back to Jamrat to pelt for the second day. On the second day of pelting, which is actually the fourth day of Hajj, you'll be pelting all three Jamrat, okay? So again, there's no transport for you to get to Mina. So you will be walking. Wheelchair users, um, you'll have family members then, inshallah, to help you. The elderly can, Mufti Saab, the Mawlana, the rules regarding the elderly, they can postpone it until later on, isn't it? Because there's masnoon times at which you can pelt. So you must have read in the kitabs that there's certain times that it's advisable and masnoon to pelt the jamrat. If you find that you've got elderly or unwell people or wheelchair users, you can postpone it at times where it's convenient for you. But one thing I must stress now, jamrat, it's not like it used to be in terms of a rush at any time. There are 4 floors. The traffic is controlled. The whole of the the Saudi military and the ground troops, they're all there. They'll be guiding you. They'll be pointing your direction. They'll be telling you where to go. If there's traffic, they'll be splitting you up at different routes, and you'll be going on the different levels of the Jamrat. And it's 4 floors. Amongst those 4 floors, they'll control the traffic, so there'll never be a rush. So you might hear from your friends or your elders, oh, don't go at this time because it will be very busy. You'll get run over. Alhamdulillah, that does not happen anymore. There will be plenty of access, plenty of time, and plenty of space for you to go all the way up till the Jamrat and pelt. So on the 11th of Zul Hajj, we are now on the second day of pelting. You'll be pelting all 3 Jamrat, starting with the smallest one, Jamrat Ula. Okay, so as you're approaching Jamrat Ula, you'll be turning towards it, and you will be pelting it 7 3 times. This is 3 times. Then you'll be pelting it 7 times. Okay, so this time you're not going to have just 7 stones. You're going to have how many stones? 21 stones. So the first one, you pelt it 7 times, just as you did on the 10th. Okay, after you've pelted the first Jamrat, you turn towards Qibla and you do a short dua. Okay, after that, you move on to the second, the middle, the wusta. After Jawal? Oh, of course. Yes, it's very, very important that you do not start pelting before Zawal, because it won't be accepted. It has to be after Zawal. Also, the camps in Mina will try and control what time you leave as well. So they'll tend to close the gates at certain times so you can't get out. Okay, so they will be controlling that aspect of everything quite well as well. Yeah.
Just quickly on that note, हमारे जो Saudi, I don't know if you use the term Salafi, غير مقلد brothers, they give fatwa that you can do pelting on the 4th, 5th, and 6th before Zawal. So just be mindful of that. You will see people going before Zawal, but these guys are, mashallah, hardcore Hanafis, so let's try and stick to what they're saying. If you land into a bit of trouble, okay, when we'll see what options we've got. But just remember, on the first day, which is when you're only the big shaitan, between Fajr and midday, it's Sunnah. So the first day is the only day that you can go quick. Yep. And then the 4th, 5th, and 6th, which is your pelting, the day you're pelting all 3, try and postpone it till the afternoon. Tika, inshallah, just thought I'd mention that because there's lots of things that come up year by year and we get sort of confused. But that's all I had to add on that point. Jazakallah. I'm the Hadi, in the olden days, they drag along their animal with them.
He's very modest, mashallah, but I tell you what, we would have been stuck without him last year with the kitab and the maslas and the different conditions that basically the loopholes we found and the hoops we had to jump through was amazing with Mufti Saab being with us. Loads of shortcuts. We learned a lot. Actually, I'll tell you another little story regarding that. We were on our way to Arafat. We were on our way to Arafat, and he said, Sohail, let's just go towards Namira. Okay, let's go towards Namira. So when we got to Namira, we asked Mufti Saab, why are we here? He said, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did istinja here, so we do istinja here also. So we did that sunnat on the way to Arafat, alhamdulillah. So we managed to pick up quite a lot last year, alhamdulillah. Through the difficulties, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened a lot of doors as well, alhamdulillah. Just mindful of the time now. So again, we are on the 11th day. Yes, we've pelted the middle Jamrat. So after the first Jamrat, 7 times, and then you stop and you do a short towards Qibla, do a short dua. And then you move on to the middle one. Again, Bismillah Allahu Akbar, 7 times again. And then again, turn towards Qibla, do a short dua. And then you go on to the big Jamrat, Aqba, and then you pelt Aqba 7 times. Okay. Now, just the way to remember when you should do and when you shouldn't. Every time you're gonna go pelting again is when you do dua. After the 3rd one, you won't be pelting anymore, so the dua stop, and there's no need to do any dua after pelting the large Jamrat. Does that make sense? So at this point, what do? Do you go back to Azizia, or do you go back to Makkah in your non-shifting, or do you go back to Mina and just stop there? That's for you all to decide. Again, onus will be on you, transport will be on you, unless your guides have arranged for you to be at a certain point at a certain time, for you to be able to catch that shuttle and get to where you need to. This is where shifting is very handy, because from Jamrat to Azizia is literally a 40-minute walk. Jamrat to Makkah is a 2.5-hour walk. And back to Mina is about a 1.5-hour walk. Okay? Go on. In terms of, it is advisable to spend the 5 nights of Hajj in Mina. Nowhere else. Now, adult, you could do whatever you want in the day. It's fine. Mawlana? Everything okay? Covered everything? Yes, yes, yes. No, don't worry. No, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. Okay. Jazakallah Mawlana. So, 8th done, 9th done, 10th done, 11th done, the 12th day, which is the last day of Hajj, exactly the same again. You'll be in Mina, you wake up, have some breakfast, rest. As soon as it's time, Zawal, start making your way towards Jamrat and doing exactly the same again. The only time things will change a little bit is if you decide to do the 6th day, an extra day of pelting where you collected up to 70 stones. That'll apply as well. So again, that's up to individuals. It's very virtuous to do this as well. So you're more than welcome to, inshallah, do this as well. Now, the tartib I just went through is according to the way we do, because we're walking. We don't depend on transport, so we have to leave at a certain time and we have to move in a certain way. I'm going to pass the mic on to Fazil Mama, who does it the traditional way, according to transport, and what an easier way of doing it as well. So inshallah, that'll fill in the little gaps, inshallah, that I may have missed out. Jazakumullah.
First, the shaitan made a weak attempt. Regarding the Jamarat, the Rami of the Jamarat, Hazrat Ibrahim went to sacrifice Hazrat Ismail. Shaitan made a weak attempt to try and divert him. And that's what the location of the Jamarat, a small Jamarat, is there. And then Hazrat Ibrahim continued, and then the shaitan made a slightly stronger attempt. That's the middle Jamarat. And then he made a very forceful attempt the third time. and we replicate the actions of Hazrat Ibrahim of pelting the shaitan. And obviously, as time has gone along, they've made pillars, they've made tiers, etc., etc. So the actual location is where you're on the ground level, where your pebble has to go to. So if you hit the screen, the slab, and it falls out of the circle, it's not counted. So if it hits the screen and it falls out of the circle, it doesn't make it way to the actual ground level where Hazrat Ibrahim pelted the shaitan. So all you've got to do, Fazal Bhai, just demonstrate it. You just put, you don't have to hit the wall and the slab, just put it inside the circle. And then automatically it will make its way down to the bottom. That's regarding the Jamarat. When you go to, if you walk in, everybody's walking this way. If you all walk in this way, people will be walking and pelting. I normally advise people, carry on walking and go from the opposite direction. There won't be that much rush there. On the day of Eid, it is sunnah to do it before Zohar. Don't worry if you can't do it before Zohar. Have a rest. You can even go after Asr. It's makruh after Maghrib, but that makruh meaning dislike, but with the amount of people and volume, etc. If for some reason it gets delayed, don't worry about it. Especially if you have ladies and elderlies, my advice to you would be to go after Asr.
Well, by does he walking, but those brothers who doesn't, I do half walking, because you will all have to walk half walking and half on transport, which is very, very easy. Now, let me tell you the easiest way to do your 5 days of Hajj. You take one day at a time, but there's umbrellas for ladies in that list and also for men as well. I put ribbons on my umbrella all the time. So from Muzdalifah, let me just give you few tips while we're going on. You don't eat too much on the morning of Mina when you're leaving for Arafat, so you don't have to keep going to toilet or relieve yourself. Eat 50% in Arafat, same in Muzdalifah, and take 2 empty bottles each person, fill it up in Arafat, because when you go to Muzdalifah, there'll be long queues in wudu khana, in toilets as well. Okay, now, so when you reach Muzdalifah, you're not waiting for wudu khana, wudu. You got your bottles, you do your wudu, and then that's it. You pray your Maghrib and Isha with one adhan, one ikamat, and then you do your dhikr. And when everything's when the queues are finished there, obviously we're doing dhikr. Go and fill your bottles up before Fajr beginning time. Otherwise, 1 hour before, you'll see long queues near the toilets and wudu khana. Okay, fill your bottles up again, do your dhikr, go to sleep. I normally recommend haji mats, so you can pray namaz on it, you can sleep on it, you can sit on it, and also take a duvet cover which is on that list. So if it's you can actually cover yourself up, but don't cover your face. Take it for ladies as well. So in Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah, they can actually cover their body as well. Okay, now inshallah you picked your stones from Muzdalifah. Now in the morning of Muzdalifah, as Mawlana mentioned yesterday, you have to stay there until Fajr time. You pray your Fajr, do your dhikr, and if you want to start walking slowly from Muzdalifah to your Mina tent, or you can go direct to Makkah. But if you are only going after Fajr, go to Makkah. If you are not going after Fajr, don't walk it to Makkah. Okay, walk it to Mina, which is our tents are very, very nearby, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour maximum. Have a rest, as Maulana said, plenty of rest. And then Asr time, there's 7 or 8 of you, right? Either take a GMC or a 10-seater minibus, just make a group of only 8 to 10 people and take a minibus, can ask them to take you to Jamarat if you want to. Or if you want to walk it from Mina, your tent, to Jamarat, Jimolana.
If you forget, like say, forget to pick up your pebble from Muzdalifah, don't worry, you can pick them up from Mina.
Yes.
Etc. But that's sufficient. But those pebbles that have been hit once have not been picked up from that area.
Okay. So oh, sorry. Okay, as Maulana said, if you forget to pick your stones from Muzdalifah, you can pick it from outside the boundaries of where the satans are. Don't pick it up from the satan, because it's like they say, once a bullet has come out from the gun, it's blank. So exactly the same way, once you hit the stone or other people have hit the stone and it's fallen on the floor, it's a blank. So you got to pick it up from outside the Jamrat areas. Is that right, Maulana? Okay. Now, inshallah, what we will be doing, from Muzdalifah, after Fajr, we'll be going to Mina. If you can walk it, I walked it all the way from Mina to Makkah after Fajr, and the mataf will be absolutely empty to do your tawaf ziyarat. Yes, you can go do your tawaf ziyarat in Makkah, finish your Safa Marwa Sa'i, and tell your guide from day one. When you arrive at the airport, tell your guide, I don't want my kurbani done until we tell you that we want your kurbani, we want our kurbani done. Make sure, I'm glad you mentioned this point. But if the guide is going to be there this year, inshallah, just insist on it anyway. Okay? And insist on it, because if your kurbani is done before you pelted the setan, it's not counted in the Hanfi Maslak. Okay? Now, what you do, you go to Makkah, you do your tawaf ziyarat. Don't wait and don't waste time in your hotel and so I'm going to do it after. No, it's straight after Fajr. Yes, you can go to Makkah, pray your Fajr in Haram Sharif, start your tawaf ziyarat, do your Safa Marwa Sa'i, and then have your breakfast. If your kurbani, if you can arrange your kurbani afterwards, phone whoever you arrange with, say, can you do my kurbani? Have a good ghusl in a hotel. Go to sleep until Zohar time and still stay in Makkah in your hotel after Zohar, have something to eat. And then just before Asr beginning time, you start walking towards pelting the Jamarat. So you'll be going before Asr. Now, from Makkah, if you are leaving to go towards Jamarat, there's about 10 or 12 roads. It's the last road on your left-hand side. And when you're walking underneath, you'll see 2 tunnels going past as well. So you'll see Jamarat. It's signposted, you can't miss it. Mina, Arafat, Muzdalifah, Jamarat. So you go to Jamarat you pelted it first day, that will be your second day. Yes, you stayed in Makkah. Now, when you coming back, yes, you pelted the setan first day, you coming back to Mina after Asr, sorry, on the first day, you coming back to Mina on the first day, and you've done your kurbani and everything, and then you stay in Mina all night. Yes. Now, 2 o'clock in the morning in Mina, you wake up, because inshallah you'll get to Mina before Maghrib time. And this is why I said, if you carry the Haji mat on the way, you can pray your Asr Salat on the Haji mat. And also, if you can't get to Mina before Maghrib, pray your Maghrib in between. We also advise take a non-breakable plastic glass, because for men it's very difficult to do wudu with ihram if you still got your ihram on, because they have water coolers sometimes and you can't lift your leg to wash your legs when you're doing wudu. So I normally carry a non-breakable plastic glass, catch it, and then wash my feet to do wudu, because otherwise your private parts will sow if you lift your leg up with your ihram on. Now, inshallah, we'll go to Mina, back to Mina, have plenty of rest, Asr Maghrib time till 2 o'clock in the morning. Now you might say, Fazal Bhai, we can't wake up that early here. How can we wake up at 2 o'clock? But there are a lot of benefits. If you wake up 2 o'clock in the morning in Mina, all the wudu khana, the toilets will be empty. Do your wudu. When you've done your wudu, you pray Yasin Sharif, Tilawah, Zikr, make plenty of du'as. By that time, it'll be Fajr time. So what you do then, you pray your Fajr. Now you don't have to wait for 10, 15, 20 people. If there's 4 or 5 of you, you don't wait for him, the other satis to do wudu, because somebody else wudu might break. So you pray your Fajr, do your dhikr, go to sleep. Now, remember this, as Mufti Saab mentioned earlier on the first day, you pelt the setan after Ishraq. On the second day and the third day, you pelt the setan after Zohar beginning time. Okay, so all 3 days I've done this with my family, with my children, after all the time after Asr. Yeah, but when I was on my own, I've gone after Fajr straight away from Muzdalifah, straight to Makkah, stayed there. And then on the second night now, so which will be the 11th. Now you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and after Fajr, after 2 o'clock in the morning, before Fajr, go to Makkah. Yes, and then do your Tawaf Ziyarat. Okay, that's the second way of doing it. So if you can't do it on the first day, you go on the second day. Again, you go before Fajr to Makkah, pray your Fajr in Makkah, do your Tawaf Ziyarat, and on the second day on the way, just before Asr, you leave Makkah and pelt the setan on the way and go back to Mina. So you will sleep there again from second night, and then what you do On same again on the third day, wake up again at 2 o'clock at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then do your prayers, everything, go to sleep until Zawal time, do your Fajr, and then go to sleep until Zohar time. Now, third day, do not leave the tents until 3-4 o'clock. Right, you will see lot of lot of tents, people will be gone. But I'm telling you, brothers, on the third day from Mina to pelting the Satan, you'll be walking like this, especially when you get in nearer. We've been stranded as well. So Alhamdulillah, I learned my lesson first time. So every time I take my family and children, we say no, we leave about an hour before Asr time. It's all, even the roads are empty. When you get there, you'll be able to pelt the Satan. Now remember this, if there's four ladies and 4 gents with you, so when you go in pelting the Satan, right, you have open your umbrella, leave it with 2 couple. Oh, is it time? Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So what you do, you got your umbrella. So 2 brothers will go with their wives. Yeah. Take the wife pelting the Satan. या अल्लाह, मैं तुझे खुश करने के लिए और शैतान को जलील करने के लिए ये काम करता हूँ, मेरे लिए आसान फरमा, कबूल फरमा. Bismillah, Allah Akbar. It has to fall into the circle. It must be bigger than this. So you don't have to hit the actual pillar, but it has to go in the circle. Bismillah, Allah Akbar. Bismillah, Allah Akbar. Too small, yeah, it's gone in, yeah. So 7. Now take 10 with you. So sometimes somebody pushes you, all your stones have gone. This is why Brother 12 said, take another bag with you. If they fall, you don't catch them because you'll be getting mixed up together. So you and your wife and the other couple have done it. The other couple standing there, you go there, get hold of there, and the other couple will go there. Yeah. So that way you do your Satan all 3 days. Does everybody understand? One wajib left. Which wajib is left? One wajib of Hajj is left. Which one? Alhamdulillah. Go over the 5 days and go over it. Yeah. Those people who have